Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective, here with John Tran again. Guys, we're going into our bye-week extravaganza. Guys are getting rested up, healthy,
We
hopefully.
need it.
Oh, we need it. We're going to go through the MASH unit that is our injury report here in a sec.
Jeez.
But there's a lot we're going to dive into here. Texas OSU review, just your takeaways. For those of you who came in on the live chat we did, I think that was Sunday night. It was either Sunday or Monday night, but I think it was Sunday night. Sunday night live chat. Really appreciate you guys. But we want to go into some surprises we've had throughout the season, some disappointments we've had. So just kind of looking over some things. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Well, first off, I also want to announce I'm going to be going on live tonight on Facebook with Mr. David Lee of Texas Horns Football on his Facebook page. I'm excited to be a guest again. I'm sure some of you saw me last time before we went to 5,000. So really excited to go on with David Lee, talk some Horns football. Also be additional content for you guys tonight if you want to see us talk and chime in on the live stream. So excited to see David tonight. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is we always bring up on our channel because we're big fans of these guys, Horns Illustrated. Make sure you guys are picking up your 25th anniversary edition. They have some really cool things going on, not just with this edition, but with the subscription. We have all links using the Fanatic Perspective code below.
Aren't they doing a Cedric Benson piece too?
Yes.
Coming out pretty soon?
Yes.
Cool.
So as Tran just stated, they are doing a Cedric Benson piece. Special edition that you have to order on the site. It's in pre-production right now, and it's going to be like a 24-page tribute to Cedric, who is dearly missed, along with Jevin Sneed.
Yeah.
You and I, we didn't even talk about Jevin Sneed.
Yeah.
So that's another one. That was another blow here in Austin. So continue your prayers to his family and friends. Only 32 years old, but in regards to Horns Illustrated, they're doing a special edition. And the 5 questions that you brought up last time with Steve Hable, which is really cool. I'm actually going to reference that a little bit later, a cool little takeaway and quote that I got from Steve in his coverage. But as always, when we do some of these preps, not as always, but we like to go back, to some old things we've done. We're going to do a little good, bad, ugly.
Okay, let's do it.
A lot of good.
There was a lot of good.
There's a lot of good. So you want to start off with some of the good that you had coming out of the game?
I kind of want to start off with the Champions Club, the drinks that that girl made. I forgot, what was her name again?
Oh, what was her name? Rachel.
They were great drinks, Rachel.
Rachel. Shout out to Rachel at Champions Club on the first floor.
Yeah, but
she doubled us up a few times,
she did.
man. It's feeling right before the game.
The real good of the game, Sam was fantastic. Devin Duvernay was fantastic. The offensive line, great. I think you threw out a stat to me earlier before we were shooting, where that they're the 4th ranked offensive line unit
according to Pro Football Focus in terms of pass pro. So just stellar job by all the guys up front. And it's one of their performance and what we're seeing from Devin Duvernay and what we're seeing from Sam Ellinger all go hand in hand. And they have not gotten enough credit. And also in terms of the run game stuff, they've been phenomenal. You saw Parker Braun out there mulling people, at times on pulls. Samuel Cosme, as athletic as he is, but man, go ahead. Offensive line has been tremendous.
Offensive line. And we got to throw in Cade Brewer in there, too, because I thought that there was going to be a huge drop-off after Andrew Beck left for blocking at the tight end position, and he's done a great job. And probably even better hands than Andrew Beck as well. So, I mean, we're interpreting him into the passing game as well.
I think we could see a bigger role for Cade Brewer. I think some of you even chimed in the post-game stuff. Hey, why aren't we seeing him utilize a little bit more? Actually, some questions we got from Instagram. Some folks asking about Cade Brewer's involvement in the offense. I think more to come with that, right? And the trick play, he obviously got a touchdown today on the double reverse, and Sam is able to get the ball out there to him. I thought, there's still more meat on the bone for Cade Brewer, but to your point, blocking's been phenomenal from him.
Another good, I think, would be the defensive game planning. I think what they did was they made him work for Chuba work for every single yard that they had, and they had Estelle, was it Estelle?
Mm-hmm.
Double teaming constantly,
On
just
Tyler Wallace.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Montreal Estelle, absolutely.
What do you have? 87 yards, which is probably his lowest production of the.
I think he had like 5 catches for. You have the stats up right there, but I think he had like 84.
Yeah, 83 yards, which is his
83
lowest
yards?
production this year, definitely.
Far away,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it made him drop out of the top spot for receiving in the nation, and just focusing on him, understanding the personnel, understanding that they had a freshman quarterback, and he was going to be eyeing him down. Hey, let's throw someone over the top and make it very difficult for him. Of course, he had a couple really nice catches.
Absolutely, yeah. He wasn't shut out or anything, but
if you look at it, yeah, Chuba had 121 yards, but he had 37 carries. I mean, that's textbook. I mean, his longest rush of the night was his last rush, which was 13 yards. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think the defensive game planning in that regard was great. I thought that definitely deserves to be called out in the good.
What goes in line with that is the execution in terms of lane and gap integrity. All the run fits were really good. In terms of specifically to Chuba, they had some struggles with Spencer Sanders. That's another thing. But in terms of the run fits, in terms of short yardage, the 4th and 1, Malcolm Roach throwing dudes into the running back and mucking up their plays.
Is he starting to realize that he's a man amongst boys?
He's played a lot better the last few. Yeah,
because he's going to be scary once he figures that out.
He's picking it up. Coburn is picking it up. You're starting to see these guys ramp. Yeah. Coburn had the play that forces the Chris Brown interception where he hits Spencer Sanders' arm. They're just, Taquan Graham. A lot of people shouted out Taquan Graham after the game. Marquez Bimage almost killed somebody. Like you're getting the defensive line since being called out after LSU and called out from the standpoint of not helping out in terms of pushing the pocket, right? Because they've had good run fits all year in my opinion, at least up front. But they've done a sensational job the last couple of weeks of really holding things in check and at bay, and the physicality is there, and it stands out on film.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out, the guys behind him, Juwan Mitchell,
yes,
Chris Atamora, who steps up.
Juwan Mitchell was all over the place. Every time I watched it on Overdrive, it just looked like every time there was a pile up, he was in the middle of it. So I mean, it's that's what you want to see from your linebacker position.
I saw that. I said this on the live chat. I'm impressed with his speed because he's able to diagnose things very quickly and in being able to play fast versus being a fast play. Like now, the people that are really scary are the people that are really fast and they see things and they can move and the speed translates. But oftentimes you see the speed dip when a player is not as unsure of what they're seeing. That's not the case with Juwan Mitchell. I think he's starting to really set himself apart from Delhi. You can kind of see the difference. Like Delhi's not bad, but it's just he's kind of struggling with blocks a little bit at times. And you can see a noticeable difference when Juwan's in the game versus when Delhi's in that position right now. So really impressed with him. Chris Atamora, man. And Steve Hable, that was one of the things he brought up in his 5 burning questions after the game on Horns Illustrated, talking about Chris Atamora's presence, stepping up, and just the instinctive plays that he's made. And you know what? Some guys have been boasting about him in fall camp. He was one of the guys that came in during the fall. He wasn't an early enrollee. But you see natural football instincts.
Yes.
Did he impress you, man?
Yeah, I mean, just the last 2 plays that standoff, of course, should be to everyone else is the batted down touchdown pass that would have been an easy walk-in touchdown, and then also the onside kick recovery.
Yeah.
Just his reaction to it. The stage wasn't too big for him, and he was there, snagged it out of the air, and went down right away.
Ready when called upon, and was, like you said, just the awareness. And the thing, too, is like you hear he's not even a core special teamer. Like, he wasn't on that unit. Guys gone, Josh Thompson goes down. Like, their hands team was noticeably different later in the game than it was what they had going into the game. And Chris Atamora just jumps in there and is like, guys, I it's not too big for me, like you just said. So I totally agree. A lot of good. a lot of good come out of this game. And the last person we didn't bring up was a brother I told you I need to apologize to if you haven't already. I've talked about this a lot on the live chat. Mr. Keontae Ingram, who had a sensational game yet again. And Roshan Johnson's a part of this as well.
Yes.
Roshan has pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. But you see the knee brace come off. Brothers are feeling healthier. They had that extra juice. Talk about Keontae Ingram's impact.
So he basically matched Chuba with 21 carries. Basically, I'd say they're almost a wash technically because he had 114 yards.
In terms of the yard,
yes, in terms of the yardage,
but it's more effective yardage.
Yeah, it's way more effective. So I mean, and then not only that, of course, Roshan stepped in and spelled him for a little bit, gave him a little bit of rest.
Roshan had a touchdown and a 2-point.
He just looked like he had an extra bounce to him. He was catching balls. He looked like he was playing comfortable again, which, you know, he had one bad game. Once again, he's a sophomore. He's a true sophomore. You know, we put these kids on pedestals, and if they have a bad day, he's a human. You know?
Right.
Were we dogging the coaching staff when they made a bad call? Well, I mean, yeah, we were, but we weren't saying, oh, we should just already just dump them already.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, we're talking about dumping Keontae, and we only have one other running back.
We need him.
Yeah, we need him.
Roshan can't play every play, even if you don't like it. I totally agree with it, and I was beating this drum after LSU, before the Rice game, before this game. You have to see how kids respond to adversity. That is part of what Tom Herman preaches at this school. That's what part of what these coaches talk about when they're recruiting kids. To their parents, man. Like, off the field, you have a bad day at work. You have a bad day in the home. How do you rebound? How do you respond to that? Or do you sulk and just let things, you know, in Keontae, in the moment, he did sulk. And he had to, you know, he lost himself in that moment. And he got too hard on himself. But to see him bounce back, to see him get back healthier, practicing, and then the on-field performance is a byproduct of everything we saw before that. So a lot of good all the way around. If we missed something, please chime in the comments. But it's always a good, you know, and then beating Mike Gundy, that's a great thing, right? That's a great, right? You know, anytime Matthew's laughing, he's like, yes, Mike Gundy, suck it, you know, like that type of thing, you know, like anytime we're able to, you know, get off the snide against a school like that, just like last year with TCU, you know, we will take it as a fan base, right?
I also want to throw in the fact that we didn't play our A game at all. We played our C game and we won. And, you know, a lot of people have been telling me who aren't Texas fans are saying that's actually the sign of a good team, that if you play like crap and win, you know, that's a sign of a good team.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't think that we're there yet, that we could just play like that and pull out games left and right. So I want to see us. I hope that's, you know, the quote unquote game that we just aren't focused for, and then we come in and we come focused every day.
I'm glad you said that, because that's a good transition into the two negative things we need to cover. So we have bad, right? The first thing is the situational coaching was poor. Was very poor. You know, starting off with the decision on 4th and 3, which I would, you know, we have an outstanding kicker in my opinion.
He booted a 57-yarder.
I would have liked to just get points on the board. I didn't think there was a need. Thought it was an emotional decision. I said that on the live stream, but the play call was poor as well. So you compound a bad decision with another bad decision, and it just seemed like at times throughout the game they struggled as a staff. And to be fair to Tom Herman, he's addressed this now twice, and he's taken responsibility, which has been a struggle in itself in the past.
I disagree with that, because we give him credit so much for him being such a smart, intelligent football mind. However, he keeps on apologizing for making these types of decisions, these emotional decisions that you're talking about. When is he going to learn from it? You know, I mean, this hasn't cost us a game yet. Well, I mean, I guess it cost us.
You could argue
LSU. Yeah,
you could argue LSU.
But I mean, it didn't cost us this game, but it could cost us down the line. You know, would you have rather taken, in retrospect now, would you have rather taken the points and gone up 2 scores?
Absolutely.
Obviously. I mean, because we didn't get the play. And I think we're giving him too much credit because he's such a good coach. But that's his opportunity right there, is that he's got to get over himself at that time, and he's got to do what's right for the team.
So. I feel you on that. I mean, hey, John with the smackdown right there. I mean, but in all seriousness though, I feel you on that. I have no qualms with what you just said. In regards to him being held accountable.
Don't get me wrong, I still love him.
I know you do. I know you do. But you're like, yo, this is a learning opportunity for you too. And I feel like what I'm hearing from you is like, I'm tired of the apologies.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the improvement now.
It's like when my son keeps doing the thing over and over again and apologizing, and I'm like, you gonna learn from it?
Right.
Stop apologizing to me.
The other bad. Is because overall, I mean, I can't say the overall coaching, because the coaching was good. We liked the offensive game plan. Yeah. We liked the Cade Brewer play. We liked the defensive game plan. We highlighted those things. Malcolm Epps, the brother just has to get. I get he's technically still a freshman. He's played 5 football. He played 1 football game last year, so like 5 total.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to understand that he's 6'7". He's got to learn, but it's also just tightening up certain things. And some of this is where we do miss Colin Johnson. I get that. But it's also an opportunity for you to play. And the coaches are putting you out there, and your quarterback essentially throws, it wasn't the greatest decision, but he also was I trust you throw.
Mm-hmm.
Go moss that guy. You're 6'7", and you get cut off. You round out your route. The guy cuts you off, and Williams is a very good corner for Oklahoma State.
Okay. You're talking about the
the interception.
Yeah,
but because it bounced high because Sam's throwing it. He's like, dude, you're 6'7", moss that dude. But at the same token, it's like you're not running the crispest routes, and it's just like we've seen so many plays where he's not giving 100% effort, even in blocking.
Oh yeah, that's the thing that frustrates me the most, is that he's going against guys who are 5'10" to maybe 6 foot, and his length, he should be sort blocking them and putting them in the sidelines. Honestly, he's much bigger than them, and it's lackadaisical blocking. I mean, you see the guy just break off after him and make the tackle. So I mean, that's the most frustrating point of it. The route running will come with time.
Yeah,
but you got to have that mentality for blocking.
And while we're putting Epps here in the bad, I also want to, I want to stress patience, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about this game in particular. And yes, there's been some issues throughout the season, but if he's going to be on the field and he's going to be targeted and Sam's going to trust him, he has to learn at least and try to develop throughout the season, right? We want to see, whether it's working with Drew Maringer more on the side or whatever they got to do to help at least learning how to shield a little bit better and protect his quarterback in some of those situations. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, we like Epps a lot. We think he's probably the glue guy for the wide receiver room, because
great personality.
Yeah, great personality.
Great kid.
Gets everyone laughing.
Yeah.
He's the trash talker, and
and he's gonna have a good career here at Texas. Yeah. He will. I promise you he will have, in one way, one form or another, because his future may not be a wide receiver. Let's be real about that too. But he's also, if he's moves tight, he's got to get a lot more physical, mm-hmm. right? So, got to step it up, Malcolm. We're with you, brother, but you got to step it up. The last bad, the tackling in regards to Spencer Sanders was a bad for me. I could tell that they didn't gauge his speed properly coming into the game. Some brothers underestimated that he is legit in terms as a
4 or 5 guy.
And I'm not going to harp on it too much. They took some really bad angles at times, and I get some people were going in and out of the game and injuries were happening, but you just can't have that, right? I don't want to spend too much time on that. Ugly. Do you want to do injuries first or special teams first?
No,
because both of those are ugly.
Yeah, they're both ugly. Let's go special teams. I mean, we gave away 2 possessions because we fielded a punt that we probably shouldn't have fielded. We legitimately muffed 3 punts. It's the only good thing that happened in special teams was Chris Adamore's play at the end. Yeah, honestly, that's the only good thing.
That the ball we almost lose that one, right?
Yep.
And we almost blew this football game on the back of special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Smith, look, I know a lot of us are not letting him off the hook, but saying, hey, we can excuse that. If you're gonna be on as a punt returner, we have to trust you, and you have great hands. I know you. You know all the catches you've been making and how he's fielded punts so far during this season. But in critical moments like that, especially in a crowd, those are the one things even Jordan Shipley, when he was young, could trust him there. And that trust has to be there, or else you won't have that right to be on special teams. We have plenty of guys that can catch punts, right? Deshaun Jameson is a guy who housed the kick return earlier this year. So if we're going to gas up Jake Smith, a lot of people's like, I want to see more Jake Smith. I love Jake Smith. Well, we also got to hold his feet to the fire as well for the punt. Yeah. I do agree Brandon Jones deserves more criticism because he's punt safe.
So I am a huge Brandon Jones fan. You know that. But
and he's played well this year.
It was inexcusable to do that. You got to understand situational football as well as a player. I mean, and understanding that there's 57 seconds left in the game. They had 3 timeouts.
Peter,
just let the ball bounce.
Peter,
I don't care if it's at the 1 yard line.
Should have been a mile away from that football.
Yes,
as soon as it starts to take the nosedive, it's a grenade, bro.
Mm-hmm. we let them burn their timeouts. We get 15 seconds off the clock, and then they have to score two times within
Brandon lost his seconds. Head, unfortunately, for a senior captain who is a heady football player. In that moment, he lost his head to attempt the sliding catch. It's like, I'm so competitive, I can field this football. No, sir. Get away from it. Call Peter. That's why your punt return's safe. And then on top of that, you get beat the next play on the touchdown where he should have been able to make the play on that side too. So it's like, again, compounding mistakes. Can't have that from one of our better football players overall this season in Brandon Jones. Injuries.
Horrible.
We lose Marcus.
This should be under the horrible.
Yeah. We lose Marcus Tillman, unfortunately, for the season, who I was really excited about. And a guy that was one of our core special teamers. We lose Josh Thompson. I know he had been struggling in the slot, but we lose his speed and tackling.
Probably
out for the season. Yeah, he has a broken foot.
Yeah.
Caden Stearns, sprained knee. He's been struggling, but out 4 weeks. So he's probably going to miss OU.
Yeah.
Jalen Green,
which is
dislocated
huge.
shoulder.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
They say 4 weeks, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was back for OU.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would love to have him for OU. We need somebody on CD Lamb, and now will we be able to get away with what we did with Estelle and double because OU has because they have a tight end and two other. And they have a quarterback that's
they have a heady quarterback. So someone who has experience who will go through his reads. So we can't double team CeeDee Lamb.
So it's that game plan when we get to there, it's going to be very interesting what Todd Orlando decides to do with the personnel that he'll have available at that time. Now I think we do expect to have those guys back. I know Joseph Osai was also banged up, but I think he'll be okay. And we should get DeMarvion Overshawn back.
And possibly BJ.
My thing with BJ, and we were talking about this because, some people have made some asinine comments about us having strength and conditioning issues. But BJ's the only one that really has like a soft tissue type injury. So that can be finicky with the hamstring. We're seeing that with Colin Johnson right now, right? Mm-hmm. Where we find out game day, he's out. So the hamstring thing... And we thought Colin had an extra week of rest. So it really comes down to how does it feel that day sometimes. But moving on, I wanted to go to a positive note because we had a lot of bad just now. There was an interview on LHN with Quan Cosby and Devin Duvernay, and I just wanted to hit on this real quick as we get into our end of the bye week stuff and wrap. Devin Duvernay, leading the nation in receptions right now. Some news today. He was recently added to the Biletnikoff watch list. Yeah, so
could be our first Texas player. Right?
We've never had one.
Yeah.
Right. So he's just having an incredible season. He continues to secure the football, break tackles. Shout out to Rob Babers today, who came up with the clutch stat on the Rodcast about Jonathan Taylor and J.K. Dobbins having 17 forced missed tackles.
running backs.
And their running backs, high-end running backs.
Yes.
And Devin Duvernay has 13 as a wide receiver. Like, that's pretty
is he
impressive.
third in the nation?
I don't know if he's third. I don't know where he is in the nation, but I mean, I just thought only at 13 to 17, like that's pretty impressive. And it goes to show like how he's played. Like you look at the plays on Grant Delpit and the missed tackles.
But that also goes to your point, though, is that the little swing passes to him is an extension of the run.
Exactly.
Which goes. So,
he's a hybrid.
Yeah,
they're using him like a running back wide receiver, which is how Florida used to use Percy Harvin. And this is what people told me I was an idiot for saying that. Yeah. I'm like, okay, like
this kid's a beast. This kid's good. He just hasn't gotten the ball.
It was really cool though for me, and I think I showed you an interview as well.
Yes.
To see the comp between Quan and to the jersey number to the breakout of the emergence both their senior years, it's really been
like looking in an old mirror.
Yeah. And I know Quan was a smaller guy, he was smaller and not as explosive as Devin Duvernay, but Quan was a guy who, we talk about Jordan Shipley all the time. In 2008, he was actually our leading receiver, not Jordan Shipley.
And I'll always remember that block, that crackback block he had in the OU game. Always.
Oh, wow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That and the Ohio State touchdown in the Fiesta Bowl. So it was cool just to see them link up and talk. He also has a twin brother randomly, which I did not know.
Neither did I.
Yeah, so y'all check that out. I'll probably put the link to that in the description below. But shout out to Devin Duvernay. He was our number one breakout player. You know how Colin Cowherd always does, where Colin was right and Colin was wrong? We were all the way right about the Devin Duvernay breakout season, and it's well-deserved. He's always been a great player. Texas has just finally caught up with his skill set and featuring him, getting him those targets and getting him the opportunities to be the great football player that we all know he was capable of being. Going on, the whole season, wrapping up. What's been your biggest surprise this season?
Biggest surprise, Roschon Johnson. I mean, the running back room just got decimated, honestly. And you take a guy who, he was just a straight up stud in high school. I think you told me he rushed for 5,000 plus yards. So, I mean, him just coming in and the thing that shocks me about him is his pass pro is not terrible. It's pretty good. I see him ducking his shoulder and taking on the blocks.
Can you talk about the fact that he's been in this position for like a month and a half, however long they've had him there?
I mean,
and all three levels you look at from a running back perspective, he's actually good. And catching the ball, pass protection, and running the football.
Was his first game LSU?
Louisiana Tech.
So he played in Louisiana Tech. So and then his second game was
LSU,
and he had a baller game for LSU for his second game. I mean, the kid's just an exceptional athlete. For you to learn a brand new position like that, I mean, I'm very impressed by that.
He probably is far and away the biggest surprise of the season and been a godsend.
Yes.
For this team, for this staff, unbelievable. All things like to the point where you're like, wow, shit, like where people really are like on the fence about him or Keontae Ingram, somebody who was a highly touted running back coming in. But it also comes up now where a lot of us as fans are asking the question, does he remain in the running back room even after Bijan Robinson comes in from Arizona next year? Like, even when Tom Herman at his press conference today said Jordan Whittington, no setbacks, possibly back. He didn't say OU, but he said a week after West Virginia.
Okay.
That was that Mensa mind right there. I don't know if y'all caught that.
So one of the first stories I heard about Roschon was in a game he missed a 5-yard out. After the game, I think they dominated the team. After the game, he threw 100 of those outs. So that preparation and that mindset and that leadership quality that he has, I think he'll be successful at whatever position they put him at.
I think he could potentially be a guy where they look at other positions just in general, whether it's quarterback, whether it's defense. Anybody that can pick up something that quickly, special.
I think he's just a special athlete.
Absolutely. And I would leave it at that with them. I just want to give a shout out to one other person, just so I have a person, because you took the obvious one.
I'm sorry.
Chris Brown. senior safety. He's been lights out from Louisiana Tech on.
Yeah.
You know, his work around the line of scrimmage, recently just got an interception in the Oklahoma State game. His presence, his intensity has really, really impressed me. He was a guy that a lot of us, we talk about how deep the safety room is and all the 2018 guys and all, but he's been the elder statesman that's been steady Eddie, and he's been good actually for the last couple of years when we've asked him to play and take on certain roles, whether it's dime package or special teams. But he's really put it all together and had a really, really good senior year. And he surprised me with just how much we've relied on him, but how much he's come through for us. So that would be my surprise. It's not a Roshan level surprise, but Chris Brown's been outstanding, I would say, for us this year.
Definitely refreshing to have that senior leadership. Not just Brandon Jones back there, but him stepping up, and no one will ever forget that swing pass in the LSU game where he murdered someone.
Chris, I mean, you look at him, Joseph Osai, Brandon Jones. They've probably been our three most consistent guys. I would probably say Joseph Osai would be my defensive MVP if we had to do one. Sam Ellinger would be my offensive MVP. But
over
Chris,
Day too.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the one running the circus.
True.
You know what I mean? Sure. He's the lead. He's the conductor. He's
whatever. The snake.
Yeah, he's the General Ellinger. Whatever you want to call him, right? Samuel George Ellinger. Told you, names matter. Names matter.
We had a huge discussion about that. We need to touch that one up.
My girl, she's an A&M fan, but we agree on this. She wants to do a video about. My homegirl wants to do a video about coaches' names because she has a very interesting theory about you also have to have a strong name as a head coach, like good. She's like think about Urban Meyer, like who's naming their kid Urban, stuff like. Anyway, I digress. Chris Brown has been incredible, and I don't know how it got from Chris Brown to Urban Meyer. Welcome to Fanatic Perspective. So, got John cracking up. If we do surprises, we have to do disappointments. And for me, I'll take one and you can take one. For me, Caden Stearns has been a disappointment. And shout out to the brother, I think his name's John James, who commented on the live chat. We had a back and forth, respectful, civil disagreement about the play of Caden Stearns. He thinks that, too many people have been harping bad on him because he is our leading tackler. He did a lot of good work in the run game. He feels like he's actually improved in his run support. But, to me, biggest play of the season, the 3rd and 17, and just he failed against Justin Jefferson. He hasn't made those splash plays that we saw him come out, why we called him the Wolf of DKR.
As a freshman.
As a freshman. I thought he would be an All-American level player. Mm-hmm. I thought, you look at the coverage, the SI stuff, being one of the top 50 players in the country or wherever they had him, right? So that's been a disappointment. I think injuries has a lot to do with that, but he is in a little bit of a sophomore slump. And I know people, again, the conversation I had with the other brother, John, I appreciate y'all chiming in on this. And if you disagree, do like John did and state facts, right? But I'm grading Caden at this level.
Yeah.
I'm not grading Caden. That's the thing. It's the level of expectation for the players too, which leads to whether or not you're disappointed.
He's a victim of his own success.
Exactly.
So he set a precedence on how he can play, and we're expecting that every single week.
You ever going to see a movie and you're like, oh, that was pretty good, and then like other people were like, well, it was trash. Well, it was your level of expectation made a difference. Whereas like everyone's hyping up a movie and everyone's like, this is the greatest movie ever, and then you go see it and you're like, you know what I mean? But you can also discern that movie is still better than most other movies. It just didn't live up to expectations. Yeah. So that's how I'm gonna.
It's a great analogy, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate that. Man. I try. What's your disappointment?
I think it's a lot of people's, and that's Colin Johnson's. He kind of showed up. He showed up a little bit in the Louisiana Tech game. I think he only had 50-something yards.
He did have a good
but,
touchdown in the back of the end zone.
But since then, the LSU game, I think Stingley kind of won that matchup. Yes, his also can go into injury as well, and he shown by him missing the last 2 weeks. So, and I'm hoping that those last 2 weeks in this bye week gives him that time to rest up and get better, get his mind right, because we're gonna need him down the stretch.
We need him.
We're gonna need his size. We're gonna need his matchup problems that he causes, because people are now going to start focusing directly on Devin Duvernay, and if they do that, and he's back, I'll take him one-on-one against any of the defensive backs in the Big 12.
That's kind of the point of our offense, and shout out to Bones 12x12 who brought this up about we get so much attention funneled on that H position because a lot of people are like, why don't we throw the ball to Brennan Eagles more? Well, that's kind of the setup, right? Like, we hit Devin Duvernay, and then when we see that, when Sam is able to make that read and see that those safeties and all that, now we can hit the guys over the top. Look, certain offenses, their route trees and route combinations are different where they can utilize outside receivers more. That's why you saw Devin Duvernay catch like 41 balls when he's over at the X position the whole season, and when he's at the H, he's already at 39, right, through 4 games. So it's a substantial difference in terms of what you're asking of the positions, but there's a way in this offense that those positions affect one another. And then Colin Johnson being on that other side, we need him.
And if he's healthy, it's kind of like pick your poison.
Right.
Because Brennan Eagles is no slouch either.
No.
So
and he's going to continue to ball and be a deep threat.
So I mean,
and be our home run hitter.
We need him. We need him. I know Sam needs him in this, and we need him down the stretch if we're going to make a run for the Big 12 championship.
I think he can take our offense to yet another level, because then you got 3 live people that no one can really deal with.
I mean, what defense in the Big 12 do you think could stop that?
Nobody.
I'm
not trying to be arrogant.
I think that
Kansas State had the best shot.
Slow us down a little bit.
But even still, they don't like. Now they haven't. Whether it's us or OU, they still don't have the personnel when executing properly to defend any of that. Mm-hmm. So that's something we have to keep in mind just moving forward. If Colin Johnson's able to get right and get back to playing how he played really his whole junior season, right? So I'm before he got hurt then. So I think that's a good one. But and with Caden Stearns, both of these guys. Now not the beauty with Caden Stearns, but Chris Brown, Chris Adamora, Montrell Estelle, like guys are stepping up over there. If Malcolm Epps could step up the way Chris Adamora or Estelle could, then it would ease it a little bit. But we're not seeing that right now. So we need both these guys. And just because they're disappointments right now doesn't mean they'll end the season like that.
Once again, there are team leads. I mean,
we had them number 2 and number 3.
Yeah,
in our 10 for 10 countdown.
We know they can turn it around.
We do.
We know they can.
We do, guys. We appreciate it. Anything we miss, please chime in. Please again hit the links in the box. Follow everything. We're gonna have a lot of links in here. Whether it's
log in later tonight for your video chat.
Yeah, log on Facebook. Come check us out. It's another platform where some people may not be on YouTube and want to hear different Horns perspective or hear another perspective from Mr. David Lee. Mm-hmm. Check us out. I'm really excited to chat with him. Horns Illustrated, guys. So the whole bit. I mean, what a time to be alive as a Texas fan, right?
Mm-hmm. It's so much nicer for us to be good.
I know. It is nice for us to be good, and hopefully we can keep it going that way. But credit to Tom Herman, Chris Del Conte, and our wonderful staff for helping these kids develop and produce a great product thus far. So much needed bye week. We'll be back next week in terms of John and I with West Virginia prep, and we're going to audit. I think we're going to do Matthew. We're going to audit the Big 12. Matthew's here. I just want to give him a shout out too, producing as always. Missy Matthew Cullen. We'll have his IG handle in there below. I don't know if y'all been hitting him up or not, but please do. Love to send traffic his way. But Matthew, Tran, y'all cool with doing Big 12 audit as well?
Always.
I think, a lot of us UT fans are going to be paying a lot of attention to all the other Big 12 games that are happening outside of us in West Virginia because they're off too. But just seeing where, eyeing up the rest of the competition. Yeah. So, guys, Horns always up.